Well, it looks like it's going to be a great first quarter for the Nigerian Stock Exchange. By all indicators, the stocks extend gains for the 7th straight session Friday, up from 1% to a fresh 9-year high. Stocks have gained strongly in January, extending 2017's 43% rise. The rally has taken the index up 12.55% since the start of the year. Effiong Ekop breaks down the numbers.
The stock market this Friday applied brakes to price jumps on the trading floor after nearly 2 weeks of rally. It was the banking sector that caused negative close of the market as many investors took profit from the bounce. This Friday, the index closed downward at 0.33%, exposing the general index of all quoted securities at more than 42,000 points. Profit-taking by investors had been high since stocks like Zenith Bank, GT Bank, Dangote Cement, Dangote Flour, and Nigerian Breweries had all hit gold in price jumps. Friday's biggest price loser was Zenith Bank. It lost 5.30% and steadied its value at 31 naira per share. Wapik Insurance closed lower with another 5% loss. Healthcare company May & Baker lost value by 4.91%. Aviation equipment handler NACO dropped value by 4.87%, while African Prudential Insurance declined value by 4.81%. Market gainers were Cement Company of Northern Nigeria, Honeywell Flour Mills, Sterling Bank, Linkage Assurance, and Wema Bank. Growth opportunities still exist at the NSE, and forward-looking investors are taking advantage. Effiong Ekop, TVC News at the Stock Exchange.
Well, with this cheery trend, let's talk 2018 outlook. Stockbroker Charles Fakrogha is in the studio. Many thanks for your time, Mr. Fakrogha.
Thank you for having me.
It seems a good one. Before we go into 2017 now, the year started on a good note. Tell us, what is the vibe?
Yes, you will recall that this rally started towards the last part of 2017 and extended to January 2018. It's not far-fetched. It's just simply investors positioning themselves, and of course some of the Q3 numbers that came out for these companies, and investors are saying, fine, that means the Q4, which is the final report, is going to be good, so they have to position themselves. Then we also saw a lot of foreign investors also taking advantage of...
Exactly. Many foreign investors that skew towards the local market and yielding as much as 18% high actually position themselves for this year.
Yeah.
Wow. So for how long would this last?
Well, the market is dynamic, and like we saw today, the market had to do a pullback. For investors, temporary up and down shouldn't be a problem. Have your plan and trade your plan. So we're going to be seeing these rallies from time to time, and after a few periods, you will see a pullback because it's logical for a rational investor. If I get into a stock at 9 naira, and within 2-3 days, I'm seeing a little 50 kobo increase. Of course, for every rational investor, you want to take profit. So we saw a little bit of that today.
Yeah, many are also saying that government will be lowering its borrowing costs this year, and this has made these investors want to look the way of equities. How much of a government effect are we going to be having in 2018 on stocks? Of course,
the government is the largest spender, and we're going to be seeing a lot of government activities in terms of, okay, they're going to reduce their borrowing. Of course, that will encourage, like you have said, investors to look at the other way. But at the same time, investors are talking to their investment advisor, their stockbrokers, how they can diversify their portfolio. It's a new year, so everybody is gearing up to see that before they take stock, maybe after the first quarter, they want to see that, yes, they've actually performed. So we're going to be seeing a lot of realignment of portfolios, rebalancing of portfolios, and investors positioning themselves to ensure that they take advantage of the market today in Nigeria.
Yeah, we see many blue chip firms boosting gains. especially at the end of trading yesterday when it jacked up the NSE All Share Index. What stocks do you think were really responsible for this?
Well, I will say all the stocks are responsible for it, virtually all the sectors. But one sector that stood out very well yesterday was the banking sector, NSE banking sector.
Always standing out, I would say.
Did so well. Of course, you must realize that the financial service industry, the financial system is a key in any economy. Of course, if that sector sneezes, the part of the economy will catch cold. So the banking sector did quite so well and was largely responsible for most of that increase we saw here. Of course, other sectors also increased, like we saw the consumer goods sector. So in the whole, I will tell you, all the sectors are doing very well.
All right, let's look at 2017. Despite the report that globally the NSE did very greatly last year with some of the top stock exchanges all over the world. Many analysts, if I may say, from different quarters still say the NSE is still undervalued.
Yes, because if you compare these companies, compare what they've been doing and look at their history, look at the pedigree, what they have done before, you will all agree that these stocks are still undervalued. And that is the more reason why we are seeing foreign investors taking advantage of this low price of the Nigerian equity and coming in with their money to invest. Now, for local investors, they should take advantage of that also. I mean, you cannot buy a stock that have done a high in the past of almost 50 naira and right now is trading below 20 naira. So it tells you that the potential is there for those equity to get to the year high they have done in the past. So for now, we still believe that the equities market in Nigeria is still undervalued. So, and that is why we are seeing more and more investors realizing it now coming back to the markets.
Okay, so what way? I know there were many achievements last year at the Nigerian Stock Exchange with the trading platform launched and many others. But I'm sure there were some challenges also of 2017.
Yeah.
You may want to tell us about that.
Yes, the NSE did quite well last year. Of course, they wouldn't have achieved what they achieved without the cooperation of the other stakeholders. Of course, the shareholders were there, the daily member community, of course, the regulators. They were all, it's like a team, a system. Everybody did their own part to ensure that we have a successful trading year last year. Some of the challenges were, of course, you can't rule that out. We saw some major market infractions, and of course, the way and manner the regulators dealt with those infractions.
You may want to dig further into these infractions.
Yeah, we saw some big firms, some senior stockbrokers had issues, and the regulators dealt with those issues decisively. And we believe that in this year, we won't be able to experience such infractions again, because the rules and regulations are being tightened. So even you as an operator, you already know that if you go this way, these are the penalties. So we're going to be seeing less and less of market infractions moving forward.
Well, we see that all over the world. Could it be round tripping?
Well, market infraction is market infractions.
All right, okay. Is that all we saw, the challenges?
Well, of course, there are also challenges of technology. But of course, we know that no system is 100% perfect. But I must give kudos to the Nigerian Stock Exchange because they were at their best. And we had smooth trading in 2017.
Smooth trading. I'm sure we want to see a smoother trading in 2018. What do we look up to for 2018?
Yes, for 2018, the NSE, the Stock Exchange, SEC, even the daily members, my colleagues, we are prepared in terms of training and retraining. The daily member community is prepared. New products are going to be coming out. The bond market is still going to be improved. Of course, a lot of work is going on. So investors will have opportunity of diversifying their portfolio. That's one. Then the market will be deepened. Of course, we're going to be seeing the derivative market also, because I know
is one thing. It was a focus last year too.
Yeah, stockbrokers have been trained on how to trade derivatives. So we're going to be seeing a lot of innovations, a lot of things, but most importantly, ethics and corporate governance have been emphasized, so that as we operate the market, we on our own part, we must play by the rules. And of course, regulators will also regulate as it's deemed necessary. So we're going to be seeing all this taking shape. And of course, we're going to also be seeing more and more innovations in the markets.
More and more innovations. Well, let's look at a major indicator, a major effect on the Nigerian Stock Exchange in 2017, and that's talking about the FX market, which I know affected a lot of dealings at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And this year, the CBN has continued its intervention. The Naira seems stable now.
Yeah.
Now, what do we expect? How effectful would that be on the NSE?
Of course, that is very obvious. For foreign investors, when they are coming to the market, they are sure of a rate at which they're going to be getting their dividends. But by the time you have an interest rate that is FX rate that is not stable, it becomes difficult for them to plan and predict. So, but with the interest rates, the FX rate now being a little bit stable, and you don't have several windows, the foreign investors will be encouraged to come, and of course, local investors too. So they can also now plan and predict as to calculate the number of dividends they're going to get.
All right, we know that the NSE is also planning a 2018 outlook and like a session next week. But in all, we're hoping to see a beautiful year for the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We must thank you so much for your time, stockbroker Charles Fakrogha.
Thank you for having me here.
We appreciate your time on
Thank
Business
you.
Tonight.